The film is set in a town in the American West where a kidnapping is taking place. The local sheriff, John Dorsey, arrives on the scene and tries to talk to Billy, the gunman threatening an innocent mother and her son. If the police don't hand over his wife, whom he has locked up, he won't hesitate to pull the trigger. Although his colleague has a clear shot, John doesn't want to get involved. Instead, he slowly approaches Billy, promising to find a solution to his problem. Finally, the man calms down. The sniper doesn't hesitate to shoot Billy, but the damage is already done. Now there's an injured woman and a child who doesn't know if he will be without a mom. 6 months after these events, we see John sleeping at home when his wife Laura wakes him up, alarmed. It seems there's someone outside. Going out, John finds his car vandalized next to a sign for Danny Race, the new candidate for sheriff. Laura, offended, demands he do something about it, but he replies that no one will listen to him. Disappointed, she asks him what happened to his guts, claiming he's no longer the man she married. The next day, in a nearby town, a biker gang robs a bank branch. Seconds from his life, a construction worker tries to be a hero, only to be shot by the leader of the robbers. They are not afraid to get their hands dirty. In the next scene, we meet Marshal Bosch Hayden, a veteran who has clearly had better days. In the middle of his work, he leaves to spit blood. It is then that he receives the alert about the robbery. Instead of acting, Bosch stays where he is, having anticipated the thieves' plans. He has been chasing the leader, Kyle Rusk, for 7 years, and now he has his girlfriend in his possession. Shortly after, a couple of motorcyclists from the gang arrive at the motel. Bosch and his colleagues remain vigilant until Rusk appears. They have everything to surprise him, but the young officer who was watching the woman is attacked by her. Although she is quickly intercepted, it was enough to alarm the motorcyclists. Rusk flees while Bosch imposingly watches him escape once again. The only thing left for the police is a wounded motorcyclist who refuses to talk. Ethics stopped mattering to the marshal a long time ago, so he presses the thug's wounds until he reveals that Rusk has a farm in another state. Now we return to Sheriff John, who tells his deputy Danny that he will teach the culprits of the prank a lesson. Danny doesn't take him seriously, reminding him they are just young kids and that he had nothing to do with the sign. John reluctantly agrees, although Danny's smile suggests otherwise. Bosch and his men arrive at the farm before Rusk, who has run out of gas on the way. Thanks to this, the police surprise his legitimate wife, Emily, who already knows Bosch beforehand. It wouldn't be the first time they meet. While his colleagues hold the woman, the marshal introduces himself to the local sheriff, who is the same John. Bosch tells him about his situation and asks to borrow a few men, but the sheriff recommends he seek help at another station. That is the problem for Bosch. They don't have time. Rusk will soon appear. Seeing Daniel's advertisement, Bosch comments to John that this is the perfect opportunity to regain his people's trust and keep his position. That added to his military experience. As soon as they arrive at the farm, John surprises Officer Ratlin improperly touching Emily. The sheriff quickly puts him in his place, reminding him that she still has rights. Nash and Mangrum, the other officers, criticize Bosch for bringing a Boy Scout instead of a sheriff. Bosch asks them to focus on the essential, as Rusk will soon pay a visit. Speaking of the devil, Rusk is stranded on the road. While waiting, a couple of motorcyclists stop to help him. Big mistake because the criminal doesn't hesitate to steal their motorcycle. Back at the farm, Emily tries to appeal to John's morality, pointing out that their situation is not exactly legal. She also asks him about his wife and their marriage. It's a small town. People talk. Emily suggests he go home to Laura, as the law won't win today. The conversation is interrupted by the arrival of a motorcyclist. It's Rusk, and although the officers were hidden, he manages to detect that something strange is happening. Emily triumphantly mentions that her husband is going to get reinforcements, bad men who do bad things like the ones who are now holding her. Shortly after, Bosch discovers that she stopped the mill when she saw them arrive. That was the signal for Rusk. John offers to call for reinforcements, but Bosch stops him. It turns out there is no warrant to arrest Emily. There never was. Still, the sheriff intends to process Emily at the station as appropriate, but it remains only an intention, as the Marshals team threatens to silence him. Rusk, for his part, joins Wolf's local gang, offering them a lot of money in exchange for their services. The problem is that Wolf wants more. Rusk gives him blood in return. In the end, the fight is stopped by Big Bach, the true leader of the gang. Aware of the motorcyclist's reputation, Bach agrees to listen to his offer. At the farm, Emily takes advantage of John's nobility to go to the bathroom. It is there, away from the others, that she asks him why he is doing this. Maybe he's about to lose his job or needs extra money to please his wife. Rumor has it that she is sleeping with Danny. Nash takes charge of her, leaving the sheriff full of rage. Then, Bosch and his companions interrogate Emily, reminding her that some time ago, her husband's gang robbed an armored truck. At least part of the money must be hidden on this farm, and they won't leave until they get it. The woman, instead of talking, lunges at Nash. In the struggle, she ends up killing Ratlin. Faced with this situation, John freezes, while Emily encourages Ratlin to give in to his impulses. He obeys. Emily did not achieve her freedom, but she did get rid of one of her captors. Bosch, full of anger, knocks out the woman and orders his men to lock her up upstairs. Nash and Mangrum can't even stand the sight of her, so John is assigned to watch her. At that moment, the woman claims she doesn't regret what she did. Ratlin and the man she killed before deserved it. The badge doesn't make them good people, they just hide behind it. This leads her to confess that a few years ago, during a night ride through the city, a group of motorcyclists was attacked by Bosch and his men. The brutality of the Marshals caused innocent people to be caught in the crossfire. Since he couldn't catch Rusk, he blamed him for those deaths. Feeling a certain compassion for the woman, the sheriff bandages her hand. Meanwhile, he tells her it's not too late to turn herself in and leave Rusk behind. Emily replies that he is mistaken. It's too late for her. With the sheriff's gun, the woman takes Bosch hostage and forces his men to lower their weapons. However, when she was about to leave with the car keys, she is held at gunpoint by Danny, who was coincidentally looking for John. Bosch takes advantage of the situation and welcomes him with open arms. That is why, when John orders him to return, Danny flatly refuses. In this situation, Bosch has more authority than him. A while later, Russ calls his wife's phone. The marshal is the one who answers and shows him that she is alive. Although he also asks him about the woman at the motel. Do you have a lover in every hideout, or what? Rusk, furious, warns him that he will arrive with some new friends. In his negotiation with Big Bach, he reveals that he knew his brother. He was a good guy. A shame that Bosch killed him in cold blood. Upon learning that his brother's killer is in the equation, Bach offers Rusk's money to whoever gives him the marshal's head. Returning to the farm, John asks Emily why she was not present in Rusk's last robbery. Not to mention the woman at the motel. It seems he's not the only one with marriage problems. Emily, reluctant to answer, recalls that the first man she shot made the mistake of underestimating her. Inaction is often confused with weakness, which is why she suggests to John that he assert his title as sheriff with actions. Danny, for his part, summons some hunter colleagues behind the others' backs. Nash and Mangrum, on the other hand, are not so friendly. More men mean less money for them, although Bosch reminds them that those guys probably won't survive. Regarding the money, John asks Emily how much they will pay for her capture. $500,000, she says, a generous reward, but divided among many, it's no longer so much. After seeing Nash talking on the phone away from the others, the sheriff demands that everyone hand over their cell phones to avoid surprises. In this way, John can check Danny's phone and confirm his suspicions. His wife is cheating on him. Now he cares little about her situation. He immediately goes to confront Danny, unleashing a fight animated by the hunters. Nash and Mangrum take advantage of this to take Emily with the help of a newly arrived colleague. Bosch catches them in the act, alerting the others to prevent their escape. In the shootout, one of the hunters falls, although Nash and Mangrum end up being shot down by a prolific shooter, John. After a long time, he has pulled the trigger again. With Emily back in his power, Bosch returns to the house. The sheriff intercepts him, claiming that he should have let Nash and Mangrum go. The marshal no longer has excuses to hide his madness. For his part, Danny regrets having brought his hunter friends. Now they have a dead man and an injured one. It was supposed to be a simple job. In the next conversation between the sheriff and the prisoner, she confesses that she always knew Rusk was trouble, but at least he treated her better than anyone. As for the first man she killed, she reveals that he was a police officer, and since then she has carried the title of cop killer. No one cared that that man was also her stepfather and an abuser who hid behind his badge. Rusk was the one who taught her to fight, so that no man would ever take advantage of her again. Just then, John received a call from his wife. As soon as she asks about Danny, the sheriff does what he has to do. Returning to the others, John finds Danny begging Bosch for permission for his colleagues to leave. Annoyed, Bosch agrees, and also gives John the key to Emily's handcuffs, freeing himself from that responsibility. Finally, Rusk reappears with his new reinforcements, ready for war. While John and Bosch prepare, Emily sees Danny fleeing through the back door. With no time to reach him, the sheriff returns to his position, ignoring Emily's pleas for him to run away with Danny. It's not his style, not anymore. After the first wave of shots, the gang members burst through the front door, while Wolf climbs onto the roof with a ladder. John manages to repel those who enter from the front, receiving a shot in the chest. Hearing Wolf on the stairs, the marshal and the sheriff manage to take him down in a combined effort. After that, Bosch lures Rusk to another part of the farm, leaving John in charge of the house. Seeing more enemies approaching, Emily asks him to let her help. Yes, she is very helpful. Bosch, for his part, faces Rusk in a game of cat and mouse that goes from guns to fists. When Rusk gets his gun back, the marshal hides in the shadows. After an intense search, they meet again. In the house, Emily attends to an injured John when she hears her husband calling her. Despite John's pleas, she goes out to reunite with Rusk, assuring him that there is no one left alive in the house. Of course, the reunion is not very romantic. Emily accuses him of only coming back for the money and Bosch's head, not for her. In the middle of their discussion, Rusk sees John pointing at him. His wife had told him there was no one left alive. At his wife's insistence, Rusk tells the sheriff that they have reached a tie, but he does not intend to let him go. He's the sheriff, he represents the law, and the law is respected. However, the shot did not come from John, but from Emily. It was time to say goodbye to Rusk, even if it hurts. Bosch reappears at that moment, revealing that he did not die in his previous confrontation. John insists that he will process Emily as appropriate. He will not let anyone kill her. The marshal does not agree. After the confrontation, Emily takes John's hand. He can't help but caress it, but he still has a job to do. When they leave, a badly wounded Wolf stumbles upon Bosch's corpse. At least Big Bach will get what he wanted.